joining us for the Board of County Commissioners Community Relations Advisory Council Annual MLK Essay Challenge Award and Breakfast Program. I am Candace Baker Buford, your MC for this event.
Buenos dias, mi nombre es Todd Dantzler. Candace, why did you write this in Spanish? I can't speak in Spanish. My name is Todd Dantzler. I'm your county commissioner. I'm also your MC for this event. The breakfast is the climax to the countywide essay challenge and is held in honor and celebration of the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Candace, please share the specifics of the essay challenge if you would.
Sure. The essay challenge convened October 6th through December 14th, 2015 for students attending schools in Polk County grades K through 12. The essay topic was Remember, Celebrate, Act, King's Legacy for Our World. Each grade level had a specified word limit appropriate for their age group. A first, second, and third place winner was selected from each grade level, and we had wonderful judges from Polk State College to judge the contest. And guess what else you're going to find out today, Commissioner?
What's that?
Well, now, you have to remember I said guess, so tell me what you think I'm going to say.
You're going to recite Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech?
No, something a little bit better than that. We're actually going to have the first place winners from each category read their essays to you.
Good morning. I'm Shandale, Terrell, chairman of the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Essay Challenge and Breakfast Program. I bring you greetings on this special occasion, remembering and celebrating the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the Polk County Board of County Commissioners Community Relations Advisory Council in partnership with the Polk County School Board to welcome you all here this morning, and I thank you for honoring us with your presence. I would also like to congratulate all the winners that are with us, along with the runner-ups and all the students who took the time to write and submit essays on the topic, Remember, Celebrate, Act, King's Legacy of Freedom for Our World. Remember, as we honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., it is important for you to remember Dr. King was a freedom fighter for all people. Dr. Martin Luther King was born on January 15, 1929 in Atlanta, Georgia. Dr. King did not let roadblocks nor ill dysfunctional people who lived and thrived off of hate stop him. No. His goal, his objective was to bring people and communities together. Celebrate. We are here to celebrate Dr. King's life journey on how God had a superior plan for his life, and that plan was to motivate citizens to live in harmony. Act. To this generation, it is time to act now, to make positive, productive decisions and a difference in your community and in the lives of others, serving your fellow man and woman, and that is in need of your assistance. King's legacy of freedom for our world. It is important for you to know we all have to start locally implementing positive decisions that will make a great impact in our community and world, and this is what Dr. King did. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. legacy will live in each and every one of us as long as we research and understand the true meaning of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream for freedom for our world. In conclusion, parents, mentors, and leaders in this place, please encourage the young people, students, that God have a purpose for their life and they have a great work to do, and that's serving others productively. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'll ask you to forgive my laryngitis this morning, but it's a pleasure, as always, to be at this event. I would say the likelihood is the majority of people in this room were born after August 28, 1963. It's a fact that all of the students that submitted essays were born decades after that date. Of course, the significance of that date was it was the date of Dr. King's I Have a Dream speech. Civil rights leader and the current U.S. Representative John Lewis, who also spoke that day, correctly stated about Dr. King's speech. By speaking the way he did, he educated, he inspired, he informed not just the people there, but people throughout America and unborn generations. That's a fact that generations unborn in 1963 have been educated, inspired, and informed by the speech and the life of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Only about 25% of the current United States population was alive in 1963. Dr. King's life was certainly more than the 17-minute speech at the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. On that date, but undoubtedly many famous passages from that speech will be quoted when we hear from the students later. In preparing for these remarks, I read the entire speech recently, and I would say that it remains relevant in our time, it remains moving in its eloquence, and profound in its impact. In that speech, Dr. King stated that 1963 was not an end, but a beginning. The ongoing work of many in this room and our very presence here today confirms that that is certainly a factual statement. So I thank all of you, the Community Relations Advisory Council that planned this event. I thank the students that submitted essays and those that judged them for participating in this event, and I thank you for allowing me to provide greetings.
Good morning. It is a pleasure and an honor to be here this morning welcoming you, our community, school board members, district staff, teachers, principals, and parents, and most importantly, our students. On Monday, our nation will mark the 30th observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday as a national holiday. We begin our day here in Bartow with an opportunity to remember, celebrate, and focus on how we, as a community of citizens, must continue to act collectively to answer life's persistent questions. As I thought of the words I wanted to share with you this morning, many of the words and quotes from more than 450 he is noted to have given came to mind. In one of the most famous speeches, Dr. King was quoted as having said, "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" This year, MLK essay theme was Remember, Celebrate, Act, King's Legacy of Freedom for Our World. Many of you may be too young to remember his firsthand the numerous accomplishments that Dr. King and those who dedicated their lives to ensuring every citizen be treated equal. The work of Dr. King and many other men and women of the civil rights movement, begun so long ago, undoubtedly made our country a better place. It is through their acts and sacrifices that America is a place where no one can be treated as a second-class citizen and every child has an opportunity to achieve their dreams. Each year that I've had the honor of being here to hear the passionate speeches our students have written, I leave inspired and recommitted to keeping Dr. King's dream and hope for a brighter future. To our students, I would like to say congratulations on your success, and by your very presence here today, you too are doing your part to keep the dream alive. Your submitted essays could also be filled with thoughts that might inspire others, as the words of Dr. King did so many years ago. In order for us to continue to promote freedom for our world and nonviolence, it must continue and not end with you. As I close, I want to share with you that we know through history, Dr. King was frequently faced with the very worst that people had to offer, but rather than give up and quit, he continued to respond with the very best that he and his supports were able to give. I say to you today, do not be afraid to share the things that you have learned, for as Dr. King stated, our lives begin to end the day we become silent about the things that matter. Let us as a community celebrate Dr. King and his life's accomplishments. Let us support our future by embracing his legacy as an example to help us guide our students in continuing to move forward bravely and with the vision that will make the dream that Martin Luther King and the parents here today have for every child a reality once and for all. Let today not be the only day that we as a community remember, celebrate, and act to keep Dr. King's dream alive. Thank you.
It's my honor to be your sheriff and to be with you today, and when I look at these young men and women in here that did so good, it makes me so excited to be a part of this community. When I think about the time and effort that you put in as parents, it makes me excited to be a part of this community. Dr. King inspired us, and he left us a legacy. And legacies have to be passed down like a torch. If they're not, they become extinguished. All we have to do to keep the legacy going is to keep the flame burning. On behalf of the men and women of the Sheriff's Office, I want to thank the children for writing these speeches. But I think about Dr. King, and really, what did he say? Just do what's right. Just treat people the way that you would want to be treated. How would you want your mama treated? If you treated people like that, the world will always be a better place. In contemplating the event today, I decided to share a few words of Martin Luther King Jr. These are some of my favorites, because to me it says it all. We will have to repent in this generation, not merely for the hateful words and actions of a few bad people, but for the appalling silence of the good people. It's important for us to stand up, and that's what these students are doing today, and speak out for what is right. And then the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in the moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands at times of challenge and controversy. Ladies and gentlemen, always stand on the right side of a challenge and a controversy, because right always wins out in the end. Maybe my favorite is, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. I've decided to stick with love. Hate is too great a burden to bear. As we go through life, we're going to become upset. Kids, but don't let that turn into hate. Turn hate into love. When you turn hate into love, you have a community like we have in this community. You have a group of people like we see here today, and you are what makes this community great. You care, you're involved, and once again, as Dr. King would want, you do what's right. But maybe my favorite one is the fact that he said this: we have all come on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. Now listen, folks, we're in the same boat now. And if any one of us pokes a hole in it, we all drown. But when we see someone trying to poke a hole in the ship, if we go over there and stop them and patch it, then we sail to the destination. And the destination Dr. King would want is peace, love, and care for your fellow man. May God bless you. May God continue to bless our community in the United States of America. Thank you.
What's my favorite part of the program is the musical tribute. And Candace has allowed me to have a 5-minute solo.
No.
But I'd like to do a duet, so Mr. Freeman, if you would like to join me on stage.
No.
I think of nothing better to bring the show to a close than you and I singing a duet. We've got the Kathleen High School's Red Hot Voices mixed ensemble who are going to entertain us this morning. And are y'all ready to roll? All right, take it away. Thank you.
so much thankful to this ensemble for singing instead of allowing Commissioner Dantzler to sing. So, round of applause again for our ensemble.
It's early, my voice is just starting to warm up.
Now, this is the time that we will have the recognition of winners by our Community Relations Advisory Council members, Nicole Smith, Hendricks, and Captain Van Montsroe, followed by the reading of the first place winners' essays.
Good morning. So I would like to first begin by sharing with you our elementary school K through 2 winners. Our third place winner is Samani Parker, and she is in the 2nd grade, and she is from Brigham Academy. Our second place winner is Gail Huth, and she's in the 1st grade, and she comes to us from Carlton Palmer Elementary. And the first place winner is Jada George, and she's in the 1st grade, and she comes to us from Pinewood Elementary. Jada here. And then we will have our elementary school grades 3 through 5 that are winners for them. We'll have Lorden Hall, who's in the 5th grade at Carlton Palmer Elementary. Lorden, come on up. And we have Gabriella Rivera, and she's in the 3rd grade from Carlton Palmer Elementary. And our first place winner is Jessica Smith in the 5th grade from Spook Hill Elementary.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do the middle schools and high schools. We're gonna start with the 3rd place winner. It is gonna be Viraj Patel, 7th grade at Lawton Childs Middle. Our 2nd place will be Kristen Yelvington, 8th grade at Lawton Childs Middle. And now 1st place, middle school 8th grade, it would be Alexandra Clements, Lawton Childs Middle. Okay, now for high schools, we got 3rd place, Mariah Wiggs, sophomore, Lake Gibson High School. Second place is Dylan Macklin, sophomore, George Jenkins High School. In 1st place, we have Tilly Farrow, junior, Lake Wells Senior High.
Okay, let's give them all a round of applause again. They're great writers. At this time, we'll go ahead and have the reading of the first place winner essays.
Good morning. I would like to thank my teacher, Mrs. Dunlap, and my school, Pinewood Elementary. Remember, celebrate, act. King's legacy of freedom for our world. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was born into a world of unfairness and injustice. By seeing his father fight against segregation, he learned courage. He decided very early to stand up for justice, and by doing this, it was not safe for him or his family. He said to his family, "A man who won't die for something is not fit to live." Dr. King pictured a world with no white-only signs, children going to school together, and everyone eating at the same restaurants. He pictured a world of kindness and unity. Dr. King believed that nobody should be judged by the color of their skin, but by how they live their life. This year, a little girl told me that I could not play with her and her friends because I was brown and not tan. His leadership has taught me that fighting never solves problems. I remember what my parents taught me. It doesn't matter what others say, just be yourself and love yourself. They taught me racism equals fear, and fear is because people are uneducated. I'll promote his dream by treating others with love and respect. Will you join me in promoting Dr. King's dream? Thank you.
School grades 3 through 5, is it Jessica Smith? Jessica?
Hi, my name is Jessica Smith, and I'm from Spook Hill Elementary School. I would like to read you my essay today. Dr. King had a vision for a society that was fair and just to all people, a society where people could live in harmony with each other and not get judged by the color of their skin, but instead by the content of their character. Equality and justice were some things Dr. King believed in most and wanted everybody to have. The legacy that Dr. King built was based on these principles. The Declaration of Independence states that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. That among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Dr. King believed in every person should have that right, and he wanted them to understand that the destinies of all Americans are bound together, and that we should all work together to achieve equality and justice for all. Dr. King confronted the nation with its failure to honor equal rights and promise of equal liberty. For that, he was killed on April 4th, 1968 by a person who did not want to see his dream of an equal society come true. Today's world has seen much advancement in his dream of equality for all, but we are also a long way from it. His work and the memory of his legacy have been carried on by those who seek the same things that Dr. King sought. I myself can continue his work by honoring his memory and being mindful of the things that he tried to teach our nation. I can practice the values that he tried to instill in us all: courage, truth, justice, compassion, dignity, humility, and service. Dr. King once said, "Darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only light can do that." If more people thought this way and practiced the words of Dr. King, his dream might be even further ahead than it is now. Dr. King had 6 principles of nonviolence campaigns, that he taught that love should be at the forefront of all of our actions. I plan on taking that philosophy with me throughout my life and hoping that some way along the way that I can make a difference in this world, or even just in someone's life. What will you do?
And from the middle schools, Alexandra Clemens. Alexandra.
Good morning. My name is Alexandra Clemens, and I am from Lawton Childs Middle Academy. I would like to thank my parents and my language arts teacher, Mrs. Davis, for pushing me and telling me to always do my best in my writing. I have a dream, stated Martin Luther King Jr. during his speech at the March on Washington on August 28, 1963. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. This statement is so famous because of the massive impact it had on American society. What Dr. King expressed in his speech was that he hoped to see a future generation in which every single member was treated equally, regardless of any outside factors. The speech, known as I Have a Dream, sparked both hopes and questions about liberty and its limitations, and the first 3 words of the U.S. Constitution, we the people. We the people. Does the word we not include all members of our nation, regardless of gender, race, religion, and all the other irrelevant labels society puts on us? Does we not include every single human being who calls the United States of America home? Do we even deserve to call ourselves united? On the map, maybe, but in our minds, in our hearts, far from it. These labels are the only thing preventing us from being one. The labels separate us, and separation causes nearsightedness, which causes conflict, which causes hatred. Therefore, these societal labels cause hatred. The labels we stick onto ourselves as if with superglue hold us back from true unity. The question we must ask ourselves is this: are we living the dream? Are we fulfilling Dr. King's vision of a genuinely equal, unbiased nation? The March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom was the harbinger of the civil rights movement. Over 200,000 Americans attended the march at the Lincoln Memorial, protesting for equal rights and job opportunities to all. They displayed signs and posters with different sayings, such as "No dough to help Jim Crow grow," or "We march for jobs for all." The march's significance revolved around 2 main concepts: equality and freedom. African Americans wanted to put an end to racial segregation and hoped to destroy the unfair Jim Crow laws. They wanted to be treated equally. The March on Washington was a peaceful way of protesting and presenting these issues in front of the government. During this march, it was when Martin Luther King Jr. gave his famous speech that changed the way America perceived racial discrimination forever. Today, people of all cultures and backgrounds are friends, classmates, lovers, co-workers, and family members. But racism is still not dead. So what can we do to put an end, once and for all, to this madness and chaos? We can look past our differences and embrace our diversity. Instead of trying to change others, we can change ourselves. We can love each other for who we are, rather than loving each other because we look a certain way or believe in a certain thing. Until we look past these differences, these irrelevant labels, these price tags we put on one another, we will never be one truly united nation, one United States of America, one we. Thank you.
And from our high school, Tilly Farrow from Lakewell Senior High. Tilly?
Hello, I would like to thank my teacher, Mr. Atkinson, and my family for getting me where I am today. Is there anyone that could take Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream and continue his legacy? With that being said, with a new character like Martin Luther King Jr., would it stop the racial tension still going on to this day? Having racial tension has made a big impact on the United States as a whole. Discrimination permits all aspects of life in the United States and extends to all communities of color. This quote provides that racial tension is still going on and that it affects all colors as a whole. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. This quote by Martin Luther King represents how he feels about racial inequality and that he does not think it's fair to judge someone by the color of their skin. We must learn to live together as brothers, or we will perish together as fools. This quote given by Martin Luther King shows that he is trying to get us all to work together and not to argue or be racist against anyone. Also, Martin Luther King was trying to say to us, if we all get along, good things will happen. The real question is racial inequality still going around today in the United States? The answer to that question is yes. With racial inequality being around today, many people are judged by the color of their skin instead of their character. As Martin Luther King Jr. said, love is the only force capable of transforming an enemy into a friend. This quote of Martin Luther King is a great example of how racial inequality still exists, but can be resolved if people would stop being racist and actually be nice and equal to everyone of every skin color. I feel as a United States citizen that everyone is not equal. I feel that all races besides whites are not technically equal. Some people say that since they're African American or Mexican, they do not feel equal because they are judged on the color of their skin. Also, in some cases, they are not born here, which make them immigrants. They feel not welcomed and not equal to everyone else that was born here. Also, women sometimes feel they are treated not equal just because they are not men. Women used to not be able to work and they feel they are not equal, but now women can work and they feel equal, but not completely. There is hope. From the people in the United States of America, their perspective is that everyone is not equal as well. For example, an incident that recently happened on August 9, 2014 in Ferguson, there was an African American named Michael Brown that was unarmed, was shot by a white police officer named Darren Wilson. The jury decided not to charge Mr. Wilson with anything, and many people took offense to that. The people of Ferguson think he got out of the crime because he was white. Another incident that recently occurred on May 21, 2015 was the Philadelphia police demonstrated their respect by arresting a black homeless veteran who had just been thrown off a public bus for lacking the $2.25 fare. While they were arresting the lady, a group of ladies called the Anti-Police Brutality Activists walked over questioning the police why they were arresting her. The police attacked the women. This is another example of how people are just racist just because they were black. Martin Luther King Jr. did a lot to try and help fulfill his dream. One of the things he did was be a leader of the entire African American civil rights movement, and he helped get that accomplished. Another thing he did was stop Jim Crow laws, which was a racial segregation. But when Martin Luther King Jr. died, did everyone stop trying to fulfill his dream? It seems as if we stopped and maybe we are going backwards. For example, when we stopped trying to help fulfill his dream, the racial tension and inequality came back. If Martin Luther King was still alive, what would he have done? If Martin Luther was still alive, he would want everyone to feel equal and everyone not be racist against any color. The question is, why did we stop? We stopped because we didn't have a leader to help motivate us to accomplish his dream to make everyone feel equal and to stop the racial tension. To be able to have a leader, it would help us as a nation and also making the world a better place to live in.
We will conclude this part of our annual MLK breakfast with the singing of the anthem, Lift Every Voice and Sing, led by Stephen Tyler Pilatus. Thank you.
And then that's going to be followed by our closing prayer, Dr. Avon Colmon. And thank everyone for coming. Thank you for participating in this event today, and enjoy the Martin Luther King National Holiday on January 18th.
Father, we do thank you for all that you did with us and for us. God, we thank them that were participating in this specific program, all of them that did the things that they did. We thank you for each and every one, God. Now, God, as we get ready to leave this place, we ask that you be with us throughout the remainder of the day. Help us, lead and guide us in the directions that we need to go. Help us to be real for you, sir. Help us to be an example to believers and unbelievers alike. God, I know that you can, and I believe with my whole heart that you will. Use us for your glory. Take us higher in you, in Jesus' name. Now unto him who is able to keep you from falling, to present us faultless to the all-wise God, be glory, dominion, and power, now, henceforth, and forevermore. And everybody said, amen. May God richly bless and keep you is my prayer. God bless you.
Thank you for coming. Have a great day. Appreciate all you did. Thank you.